All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Illinois College session, part of the virtual college exploration with IACAC. Glad that you could join us today. Just a couple announcements here before we get started. You can see on the slide in front of you a little bit about what's going to happen today. We're going to use the Q&A feature for you to ask questions. We'll probably answer those questions after the presentation part of the program today. You are muted and your camera is off at this moment. So you won't be able to ask questions verbally at this time, but if you have questions, please go ahead and put those in the Q&A. Of course, you can sign up for more sessions if you'd like, and this session is being recorded, so just so that you're aware. All right, give me just a moment here. All right. Well, again, hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. My name is Evan Wilson. I'm the Dean of Admission and Student Financial Services at Illinois College, and thrilled that you chose to spend your time with us today. We've got some really cool things set up for you today. I'm going to talk with you a little bit about who we are as an institution, then introduce you to some of the people that make this place special. So today we're going to take you through a few slides about, again, who we are, just to give you some basics. But then also, I've got my colleague here, Caleb Crawford, who's going to take you through a little bit of the student experience. But once we're done with the slides, we're going to get you to the real student experience with some actual live in-person Illinois College students, maybe answer some of your questions, some of mine as well. And then I have Sarah Jean Gilbert, Associate Director of Admission, keeping an eye on the Q&A so that we have an opportunity to answer your questions to the best of our ability. We have about 45 minutes in total, and so we'll get started here in just, well, right now. So when you hear about Illinois College, you hear about this phrase, which is graduate ready. Illinois College is an institution that is focused on, of course, preparing you for a particular major, but it's about preparing you for what comes next. So before we get too in depth here, I want to give you a little bit of glimpse of what the physical campus looks like. So bear with me. Awesome. Well, hopefully that give you a sense of the physical space of campus. Again, we want to give you a sense of who we are as an institution, and it all boils down to being ready. Right now, in your experience, you're thinking about what comes next, which is college experience. We're already thinking about what's going to happen after 4 years at Illinois College. So that's what it is about being ready. So we are a small institution. We have 1,150 students. In fact, This fall, that 1150 number represents the largest enrollment in the college's nearly 200-year history. So it's a fantastic time to be at Illinois College. The average class size is 16. Student faculty ratio is 13-1, which means that no matter how you slice it, your fellow students and your faculty are going to get to know you. Obviously, in this time of social distancing and increased awareness of safety and health and those types of things, we think that being at a small school is an excellent choice. We are in person largely at Illinois College this fall in what is referred to as a hybrid experience. So our students are in class a handful of days a week and then are doing also some remote work on their classes as well. But we are all back to campus and so far so good for this fall. A little bit about who our students are. You can see that they come from a variety of places from around the U.S. and around the world, in fact. So 32 different U.S. states and 26 different foreign countries. So a fairly diverse campus in terms of people's experience, but largely the largest portion of the population on our campus does come from the state of Illinois. Just under 80% of the students at Illinois College come from Illinois. You can see some of the breakdown of the rest of the students on our campus. You can see that we're a fairly diverse campus when you think about private, small private colleges. We are a residential campus as well, which means that what's going on in town and on campus is happening with the Illinois College students there. So nearly 90% of the students who go to IC live on campus. We think that the residential experience in college is a very important part of who we are as an institution. And so we ask that students live on campus through the third year. So it wouldn't be a college, obviously, without choosing a major. And if you're like me, you may still be thinking about what you want to major in. I remember when I was in high school, I thought that I wanted to do one particular thing, and things changed for me when I got to college. So some of you are probably thinking, yeah, absolutely, I know exactly what I want to do now. Others are somewhere in the middle. So again, I'll mention my experience. So when I was a high school senior, I thought I was going to be a physical therapist. You know, I was an athlete. I wanted to be working on people's knees and ankles, that sort of thing. And when I came to Illinois College, I took my first few science classes and realized that actually wasn't something I was going to be successful in. So it took me a little while to get that figured out, but ultimately I decided on a communication major. So at Illinois College, we're a liberal arts institution, which means that no matter what you decide to major in, you're going to take an academic program that is wide-ranging, one that teaches you how to think, not what to think, to be a problem solver and to think critically about particular topics. Ultimately, we want to find some match of your talent and your passion. Okay, I thought I had the passion for physical therapy, but I didn't have the talent, right? So it took me taking a few classes, and I realized that both communication and business were something that I was really interested in. So you can see from this chart, we have a wide variety of majors. In fact, we have over 45 different majors and minors on our campus. If you can dream it, we can generally make that happen. But you actually don't need to declare a major until the end of your sophomore year. So if you want to try a few things out, absolutely, that's fine. If you want to challenge yourself outside the classroom, or let me say inside the classroom, we also have the IC Scholars Honors Program. So the Honors Program is a chance to take your education up a notch. If you're naturally curious and you want to sort of explore the big questions, perhaps the Honors Program is something that you want to get involved with. The Honors Program allows you to have projects outside the classroom with faculty starting from the very first semester. And one of the big payoffs for the honors program is that in your junior or senior year, the IC Scholars Honors Program will actually fund a international travel trip for you prior to graduation. So it's one of the big payoffs for doing all that hard work. So if you really want to challenge yourself and you want to do the IC Scholars Honors Program, definitely encourage you to apply, but you need to do that by December 1st for full consideration for the honors program. When you come to a small school, it's not just about what happens in the classroom. You will have faculty mentors who guide you and get you fired up about a particular subject, but if you can't take the knowledge that you learn in the classroom and apply that in some way, you're really missing out, and that's what makes Illinois College so special. We want you to have these experiences outside the classroom to apply your knowledge, so you can do that through internships, through student and faculty research, community engagement, or international travel. Generally speaking, before you graduate, you'll have access to at least one of these things. And I think when you talk to the students who are on the webinar today, you're going to find out oftentimes you can do more than one. So an opportunity to apply that knowledge is really important. And when we talk about being ready after graduation, applying that knowledge, being ready for the workforce or graduate school, professional school, whatever that might be, that's what it's all about. At this point, I'm going to turn it over to Caleb, who's going to talk to you a little bit about how we keep you on track with our academic supports and what a little bit of student life is like. Caleb?
Thank you, Evan. My name is Caleb Crawford. I'm one of the admission counselors here at Illinois College. I graduated from IC back in December of 2019. And along with Evan, I also majored in communication as well as business. And, kind of just building off of, this idea of graduating ready. Well, there's a lot of different ways that we work to make sure that you do get ready. And one of the things that we do is make sure that you have adequate academic support. So kind of want to just talk real quick about the different types of academic support that we are able to give our students. The first and probably the biggest support program that we have on campus is called the TRIO program. Now, the TRIO program is specifically for 3 separate types of students, either students that have a documented disability, students that are first generation, or students that come from a lower income household. Now, the TRIO program creates strength-based and individual plans of actions for the students that are a part of the program. And these plans of action address the unique goals and needs of each student individually. So there are 140 students that are a part of the TRIO program each year. And some of the benefits of being in this program, you are provided with an academic coach that follows you all 4 years of college, again, to make sure that you have the support that you need in order to graduate on time and in order to graduate ready. And now this academic coach can assist you with maybe selecting courses, maybe like Evan mentioned earlier, if you aren't 100% sure what it is that you want to do, your academic coach can help you try to figure out, what is it that you want to do, kind of help guide you along in selecting classes that can get you the most exposure to the different types of programs that we have available on campus. And not only that, they offer financial and economic literacy for students, especially for students that do come from lower income households, just so you can, get a better grasping of, as you get out of college, what is it like to create a budget? What is a credit score and how does that impact a lot of different things? All of these things that academic coach can provide, students that maybe not have that type of experience, coming into college. And some of the other programs that we also offer that are for non-TRIO program students as well. All students will be paired up with an advisor. Normally their advisor is a part of their major, and your advisor is someone that you can go to for a wide variety of things. Whether it's advice on selecting courses, whether you have questions about graduate school, entering the job force, your advisor is going to be the person that you go to get a lot of that information. Maybe you need a letter of recommendation. That your advisor is someone that you can go to. As an example, my advisor wrote me 3 different letters of recommendation. So that's just another great resource that are afforded to students. We offer free tutoring on campus as well. That's another benefit. You don't have to worry about paying for a tutor out of pocket. Those are provided to you. A majority of the majors on campus, have students that are tutors within those programs. So say you're struggling in a class, or maybe you aren't struggling and you just want to get ahead, tutors are a great resource for you academically as well. And then lastly, career planning. Now that's another facet of graduating ready. Whether you have an idea of what it is that you want to do, or maybe you have no idea, our career readiness office, works hand in hand with students to make sure that, by the time that you graduate, what it is that you want to do. Whether it is, getting a job, going into the job force, whether it's going to graduate school, maybe it's taking a year off. That's what they're there for. If you decide that you do want to go and get a job, they'll work with you to work on your resume and your cover letter. Give you interview tips and tricks. If you decide that graduate school is the way you want to go, they'll work with you to work on your graduate school applications and what is a CV and all that different kind of stuff. So just a wide range of different supports that are provided to students at Illinois College. So Evan, if you want to go ahead and go to the next slide. Another benefit that we're able to give students, again, to make sure that you graduate ready, we talked about the academic side of it. Well, now we can talk a little bit about the financial side of it, and that's the Finish in 4 program. So we understand at Illinois College that, college is an investment, and we want to make sure that you are getting the absolute most out of the money that you spend going to IC. So the Finish in 4 program is a guarantee from the college to you that you will graduate in 4 years. Studies have shown that a lot of undergraduate students now are graduating in longer than 4 years. And the reason why that's an issue is every year that it takes you after 4 years to graduate, that's costing you nearly $70,000 when you think about tuition, plus all of the lost wages that you lose out on because you're in school and not working. That's nearly $70,000 a year. And we want to make sure that you are getting the most out of your experience and aren't losing out, on those opportunities down the road. And so if it takes you longer than 4 years in order to graduate, IC will actually pay your tuition costs if it takes you longer than 4 years. Again, just another benefit to make sure that you graduate ready and graduate in 4 years. So obviously we can't talk about the college experience without, talking about a whole bunch of the different things that you can do on campus. There's countless, number of ways to get involved. There are over 80 plus different organizations that you can be a part of, whether it's being a part of the Student Activities Board, being a part of Student Senate, which Sergio, who's one of our panelists, he's heavily involved in Student Senate, so he can talk a little bit about that. Whether you are on the speech and debate team, whether you are part of Nuestra Casa, which is one of our Hispanic organizations, Greek life on campus. There's so many different things that you can do, that's outside of the classroom to make sure that the experience that you get at Illinois College is a fulfilling one. These organizations being a part of something, not only does it look good on your resume, but you can, build relationships with friends, meet a whole bunch of new people, just a lot of different ways to get involved. And then obviously, probably one of the biggest ways to get involved on campus is being a part of athletics. So we offer 23 different athletic programs, being in NCAA Division III. So if you are an athlete, whether you're a football player, baseball player, softball player, participate in track and field, we offer all of those different programs and more. And there's just so many different ways to be a part athletically. Say you are an athlete, but you don't want to participate at the varsity level. We do offer intramural athletics as well, whether it's intramural volleyball, kickball, softball, a wide range of ways that you can get involved, even if you don't want to participate at the varsity level. And then if you're not an athlete at all, there are still ways for you to get involved, and that's being part of the Blue Crew. So the Blue Crew is a membership for students. So you pay $25 and you can get a free t-shirt, and you get free drinks and food at select home events. Again, another great way to get involved, spend time with friends and cheer on Illinois College. And you also get student membership to the IC Varsity Club, which traditionally is for alumni members only, but you can get student membership to that as well. So again, a whole bunch of different ways to get involved on campus. We hope that you would take an opportunity to learn a little bit more about these programs. So at this point, I'll hand it back over to Evan.
Thanks, Caleb. Want to talk a little bit about next steps and maybe a little bit about the process, and won't take too much time, but obviously going through the application process for colleges is one of the very first steps, right? Once you've identified schools that you might want to attend, obviously you're going to send admission applications. And I realize that some of you may be seniors and going through this process now. Some of you have maybe already applied to Illinois College. Others might be underclassmen, just sort of exploring their options. But when you apply to Illinois College, we've done a number of things to try to make it as simple as possible for you. One is the elimination of application fees. We don't want an application fee to be a barrier for someone choosing to apply to Illinois College, so you just don't even have to worry about it. No waivers, no fee. We have an application on our website. We're also a member of the Common application, and most recently just added the Coalition for College application as well. So there's a number of different ways that you can submit your application to IC. The application opens every year, August 1st, and we would strongly recommend that you have your application submitted by the 1st of December of your senior year. This allows you to be considered for a maximum amount of scholarships. And we'll talk about scholarships here in just a little bit. But in order for you to have a file completed, we'll receive a transcript from you. We prefer an official transcript from your school. We'll also accept an unofficial transcript for the purposes of reviewing your application, but that'll either way needs to come from your school. The secondary school report provides us information about you in the context of your institution, your school. Many schools have different grading scales. Some use a class rank, some use weighted GPAs, some don't. So the secondary school report is one way to get the context of the classes that you've been taking throughout your high school years. And then also at Illinois College, you can choose to submit a test score if you want. So Illinois College is a test optional institution, and we have been for over a decade. So we know that at Illinois College, the single biggest predictor of success on our campus is not a standardized test score. We know also, particularly in this year, it's been extremely difficult for you to take an SAT or an ACT score, or take one of those exams. And so we would encourage you just to not take it, right? I know some of you may be taking it in your school, maybe even this week or in coming weeks. But if you feel that that test score places you in any danger of yourself or your family, we would encourage you just to go ahead and opt out, because when we look at applications at Illinois College, test scores aren't necessary. That's both for application for admission as well as scholarship consideration. So when we receive a completed application from you, your admission counselor, who's assigned to students at your high school, will read your application and we'll look for a handful of things. We'll look at the courses that you've been taking in high school. Have you been challenging yourself with college prep courses? I tell you what, I was really good at PE in high school, but it isn't helping me a whole lot in college. So if you've been challenging yourself in English and math and science and those types of courses, which are going to be preparing you for success in college. What has your grade trend been? Has it been up? Has it been down? Has it been a little bit all around? We're going to take a look at that, okay? We're going to consider a personal statement, which is included in the application. So if there's anything that you need to tell us about you and your unique circumstances, that personal statement is a great place to put that information. We use a rolling admission, which means that when your application is complete, you can generally expect a decision from Illinois College to be turned around in about 2 weeks. So at the time that we review your application for admission, we're also going to consider you for scholarships. So at Illinois College, merit scholarships, by and large, come with the offer of admission. We will start sending merit scholarship offers out to students in the next few weeks. So if you've already been admitted to Illinois College and you haven't received notification of a scholarship, that's okay. You'll hear from us in a little bit. But I want to point out a few of these scholarships. So the Academic Distinction, Excellence in Education, True Blue Scholarship, these are primarily based on academic merit. So the stronger your academic portfolio, the higher the scholarship amount is likely to be. These location-based awards are scholarships for students who come from particular areas. So there's a scholarship for students who come from Chicago. There's another one for students who come from Central Illinois, and so on and so forth. In particular, I want to point out this Ready for Success Award. This award is a $2,000 scholarship for students who both visit campus, either in person or virtually, and submit their FAFSA to us. Okay, these are things that we know are indicators of a student's readiness for success in college. And so we want to reward those students for doing those things. So visiting campus, submitting their FAFSA. Okay. We also have talent-based awards for things like debate, music, and esports. So if you have an interest in the talent in those particular areas, we'd be happy to answer any questions you have about that. But I want to go back to the top of the page because you're probably looking at those and thinking, why hasn't he talked about the full tuition awards? Well, the Trustee Scholarship is a full tuition scholarship awarded to the best and brightest of the students that we have in our applicant pool each year. We invite students to come to campus to interview for one of those scholarships. Now, we only award 5 full tuition scholarships each year in the Trustee Scholarship. But if you are interested in STEM, we have the AeroSTEM program, which is also a similar scholarship, full tuition, for students who come from low-income backgrounds who are interested in careers in biology, chemistry, physics, mathematics, computer science, early research opportunities, and a scholarship benefit as well. I want to stress that I've mentioned the December 1 deadline a few times. If you want to be considered for these programs, I strongly encourage you to have your application in and complete by the 1st of December. So again, we'll recap some of these things. You know, Illinois College, when you look at private colleges, you'll find that we are a tremendous value. Guaranteed internships or experiential learning in some way. We include the cost of textbooks in your tuition because we believe that it's incredibly important that everyone have access to their educational materials on day 1. Finish in 4 means that if we mess up somehow and you go more than 4 years to finish at Illinois College, we're going to cover the tuition for what you need to finish. Scholarship and financial aid program, you have your admission counselor to kind of give you, walk you through that entire process. You'll find that we're very competitive. And you have an academic coach to guide you through that first year of college. So at this point, we're going to invite our students to give you a better sense of what the student experience might be at Illinois College. So I'm going to ask Gianna Harmon, who's a senior, as well as Sergio Pena, to unmute their screens and their microphones, join our conversation here. I'm going to do a little bit of interview, try to put my best kind of Jimmy Fallon impression here, ask you guys some questions. Now, you guys are both from the Chicagoland area, is that right? Awesome. Well, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourselves, maybe introduce yourself, what's your major, what high school did you go to, and we'll start from there. Gianni, do you want to start?
Sure. So as Evan mentioned, I'm from the west side of Chicago, Illinois, and I'm a senior majoring in biochemistry. What else was included in this?
Biochemistry, yeah.
Yeah, I'm majoring
We'll
in
get to some other stuff too.
Okay,
yeah.
Perfect. I'll just leave it there.
Sounds good. Sergio, how about you?
Okay, so my name is Sergio and I'm from Naperville, Illinois, also around Chicago. I went to Mateo Valley High School, if anybody knows where that is, and I'm majoring in communication and rhetorical studies.
Awesome. So, guys, tell me about what led you to choose the major that you chose, and is it different now than what you thought it would be when you started at Illinois College?
They're not at all prepared for any of these questions.
I can start. So I originally came in as a biology with pre-occupational therapy major, and after taking one of the classes for that major path, I decided maybe that's not for me. So instead I went with communication and rhetorical studies, and it's been very fun. And I chose it specifically after I took our required public speaking course, and it really helped me see like that communication was something I was really interested in and wanted to learn more about.
Yeah.
For me, it was a little different. In high school and prior to high school, I always had a passion for math and science. It was actually one of the subjects that was my strong suit. So when I got to college, I figured why not stick with what I'm good at. So I knew right away that I wanted to be a biochemistry major, and I actually declared my first semester of college. So I knew pretty early on, and I haven't changed it. So that's been good.
Yeah, well, that's great. So tell us about that transition from high school to college. You know, what was that like for you? Did you experience any difficulties? I know you guys are both involved in bringing new students to campus and kind of acting as mentors as a involvement leader and things. So what would you say to students who are thinking about that transition from high school to college, and maybe relate that to your own experience?
So I can start again. So I think the most difficult part for me was coming to this new place where I actually didn't have any friends coming in or anything, and I didn't know anybody else here at first. But I made friends very early on, and I think what helped was building that support system very, very early on with both friends that were my age and in my classes, but then also like some of the staff on campus too to help out.
Yeah.
Initially, for me, the transition was really hard, not so much academically, um, because I was used to taking like AP and honors classes in high school. But as far as like socially, I had to get used to being in a different place. I only knew one person at IC prior to coming there. It was actually my cousin, but we barely see each other. So it's almost like he isn't there. But the day that my parents left me when I moved in, I knew I had to do something. So I just kind of started to get involved. I started like volunteering with the Student Activities Board. I joined some clubs, and I'm super involved now at the point where it's like I always have something to do, even though right now is not the time to always have something to do. But yeah, just getting involved and meeting new people helped me out a lot and made me a lot more comfortable with being away from home.
Yeah. Tell us about your favorite professor. Who is it, and why are they your favorite professor?
My favorite professor, it has to be Professor Adrienne Hacker-Daniels. Besides being absolutely funny, she's also very, very smart. Like, she's a rhetorical genius and one of my mentors. She's also helped me out a lot. So I'm her research assistant. So I get to do plenty of work with her. Working on new manuscripts.
Sergio, we're having a little bit of a hard time hearing you.
So that's been really cool.
All right, Gianna, why don't you tell us who's your favorite professor?
My favorite professor is Professor Jocelyn Lenario. She's a chemistry professor. And I've never actually had her as a professor until now. She was like the lab instructor when I took organic chemistry, and she was very helpful and with explaining things, and she was like very hands-on, and I appreciated that. And then afterwards, all of my other professors were like, Gianna, you need to do research. Like, we really want you to. It'll be good for you. And I actually did my independent inorganic science research with her. And once again, like, she was really good at helping me learn about something that is completely out of my comfort zone, as well as I was able to present at the Celebration of Excellence, which was really a great opportunity. As well as like I'm currently applying to grad school. It's my last semester, so next spring will be graduate school, and she's been like super supportive of me and the application process and all of those good things.
Cool. Well, maybe one more question, and then we'll turn it over to the Q&A. This is often the first question we ask, but we'll end on this. But tell us about your decision to choose Illinois College. Why did you choose it, and what sort of factors led you to choose it?
I chose Illinois College because of the community feeling I had. I'm sorry, can y'all hear me? Okay.
Fair enough. You can go off a video,
Okay.
if that might help.
Are y'all able to hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear it better now.
Okay. Well, I chose Illinois College because when I visited for Bright Blue, which is one of our honors events, I thought the community feeling was really nice, and I also got to meet some of the professors and students on that day, and it seemed like a really good and strong academic environment that I would enjoy. And then also I was one of the recipients of the trustee scholarship, so that helped with the decision there too. But I knew IC was going to be like a fit regardless.
Perfect. Thank you.
So for me, I actually learned about IC at it was pretty late, so I missed out on all the fun December 1st deadlines. But I actually heard about the school at a college fair at my high school. I graduated from George Westinghouse College Prep, and the admissions counselor, his name was Ziggy. He's like, hey, like I'm from Chicago, so I know what you're going through. I know how you're feeling. You should check it out. And on my tour, it was actually like a very welcoming environment. Everybody was smiling. Everybody seemed happy. And when I went into Parker, which is kind of like my second home on campus, I said, whoa, like I want to be a biochemistry major. This is where I'll spend a bulk of my time. And when I realized I was able to see myself be a student there before actually committing, I figured, I feel like this is a good decision for me to make. And it was close to home. I have an older family, so that played a huge part in my decision. I didn't want to be too far away in case anything bad happened, which was the smartest decision for me to make. So, yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, we've got a little bit of time here. I want to remind folks that if they have questions, they can drop those in the Q&A and we'll get to those. But in the meantime, I'll keep firing questions. So we've talked a little bit about the experience of majors. We've talked about faculty. We've talked about sort of choosing the college. What about just where's your favorite place on campus? Where do you like to hang out? What do you where do you go when you need to, I guess these are separate questions, but where's your favorite place on campus and why?
My favorite place on campus has to be the second floor of Kane Student Center. It's like the hidden gem of campus. So we have our Office of Diversity, Equity, Inclusion Lounge, which is super comfortable and nice to chill out at, and you can do homework there. Also my home of student senates there as well. And I like to work there with friends and just small groups too. So yeah.
For me, it's a little different. Anybody on campus who knows me knows I love a lot of the faculty and staff. They kind of see me everywhere, and it's like some offices I go to and I have no affiliation with them, but I love Parker because it's the science building. I love Kane Student Center because Res Life and the Center of Student Involvement is there, and I really love the staff. I love Tanner because all of the admissions people are there and they know who I am, and I like to talk to them and let them know what's going on with me. The president's also there, so sometimes I bump into her, and pretty much almost anywhere on campus I love to be.
And bonus points for mentioning you like to visit the admission people, Gianna.
We do have a question about cost of attendance. So I wonder if you, Evan, might want to answer that question too.
Sure. So the cost for the current year, tuition and fees plus room and board. So again, remember Illinois College is a residential campus, meaning that we would require that first year students live on campus. So all told for 2 semesters, the entire year is $43,994. That's before the application of any student financial aid. 99% of students at Illinois College are receiving some form of financial aid, whether that's scholarship. Well, nearly everyone is receiving some money from Illinois College, as well as, when you file the FAFSA, you might qualify for additional need-based funds, or at the very least, the ability to borrow a little bit. But if you look at other private institutions, you'll find that Illinois College is sort of in the middle in terms of cost of attendance. What we find is that at the end of the day, after financial aid, Illinois College is often less expensive than attending one of the flagship public institutions, and often very competitive with other small private institutions. Just again to mention that Textbooks are included in the cost to attend Illinois College. There are not a lot of other significant fees and things that are associated with it. That's one of the advantages, again, of sort of being a private institution, in that, what you see is what you get in terms of the cost. And the good news is that at Illinois College, when you apply, you have an admission counselor whose role it is not only to read your application, but to guide you through the whole financial aid process. So whether that be scholarships, whether it be need-based financial aid, or some other combination of those things, that person is there to explain not only what you've received, but what your out-of-pocket costs will look like. Costs have not yet been set for fall of 2021, but when we put out scholarships and financial aid, they will be calibrated to whatever that cost would be.
Any other questions that we can answer? We have a few more minutes.
Well, let me just ask real quick, since I don't see another question in the Q&A, Gianna or Sergio, put you on the spot here. If there was something that you wish you would have known before coming to IC, what would that thing have been?
I wish I would have known, this is going to sound really silly, how to use a Tide Pod, not going to lie. I really overcomplicated it at first, but it's really just as simple. So maybe ask your RA if you do come to IC, if you need help with laundry. That's my biggest piece of advice there.
Laundry. All right. So laundry was what? Okay. Gianna, how about you?
For me, I wish I would have known exactly what having your own personal independence meant. Because, like, even though my parents, like I said, they're older, so they didn't treat me like, like a baby. They had never experienced going away to college, should I say. My mom did college online and my dad never went to college. So I had like two different experiences. And when I got there, I was like, okay, this is nice, no parents. And then I said, wait a minute, I miss my parents. And it was just kind of like figuring out all these things on my own, like, scheduling a dental appointment, or, a nurse appointment with the school, or, like going about things on my own, getting my own jobs and things like that. Like, I didn't realize, how much independence it would be. Which it's pros and cons to it, but yeah, that's my thing.
Absolutely. Well, it's a big responsibility, going off, and that freedom is both exhilarating and sometimes frustrating at the same time. But well, I want to thank you both for being here, and Caleb and Sarah Jean for helping out as well. I think our time is just about out. So again, I want to thank everyone for attending today. If you have additional questions, we encourage you to email us at admissions@ic.edu. We'd also love to see you on campus, ic.edu/visit. We are taking individual visitors on campus right now, and we'd love to see you. Thank you very much.